Once you finish your color spectrum, you can begin working on your color wheel. And so in terms of working on the color wheel, we are going to stick with our primary colors, and we're going to map those out first, and then we'll establish the secondary colors, and then we'll establish our tertiary colors. So to get started, usually red goes near the top, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in. Let's see, let me find that nice little flat spot. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in this square with my red. And again, notice, I know I talked about this a little bit. Maybe I talked about this, maybe not. But the way that I'm holding the tool will really change how I'm applying the color. So the way I'm holding my tool right now is, instead of holding it like a pencil, which really, I mean, it would break because, you know, Conte is relatively soft. So instead I'm holding it like this. And so think about pinching your tool and then putting your other fingers on the tool like that. And that just helps you have a lot more flexibility with the material as you are applying it for a drawing. And so I would recommend usually holding your tool like this. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, and then apply my next primary color. My yellow Conte broke, so I have this, you know, kind of lovely little chunk of yellow that's actually quite easy to work with. So if you want, you can break up your tool like this as well, although to be honest, I would usually recommend keeping them together if you can. And then 1, 2, 3, and I'll apply my blue right here. Now, same rule applies here. If you have a little bit of schmutziness, don't worry about that. I actually always really visually like that extra mark making. If you are super, if you tend to like things a lot cleaner, you're welcome to go back in and erase those edges and make everything nice and clean and tight. But I always like that kind of schmutzy aesthetic. And in terms of what we're learning here, that little edge and these edges, you know, right here, don't, like we're learning what we need to learn, and so visually it's not a huge problem if there are those little extra marks on your paper. And so I will begin to blend these, and then as I blend them, I'll wipe my extra finger marks off on the other squares, because I'll be building up that color right after. So. And I'll wait to blend the blue. Since I'm working with the red and yellow now, I'll go ahead and I'll keep working on that. So I'm gonna lay down a kind of a medium amount of yellow here, a lot of yellow here, and only a really small amount of yellow over there. And then of course, Laying down red, I'll lay down a lot of red here, and so this is going to create that tertiary color of red-orange. And then here we have our standard orange. And then here we're going to have that yellow-orange. So I only need a little bit of red in that space. And so the thing about the color wheel, these are going to be distinct colors that you're blending. So I don't need you to make like a spectrum. It's more that we want to actually see the distinct differences between those colors. And so as you're working, if you notice that two colors still look relatively similar, add a little bit more of the other color to make them more distinct and to make them kind of stand out apart from each other a little bit more. And so for example, here I'm adding a little bit more yellow to kind of help that stand out a little bit more. And then for this one, we really don't need a lot of red, so I'm hoping that that's a good amount right there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Next, let's go ahead and work on green. So I'm gonna wipe my fingers off really quick. I'm gonna lay down a good amount of yellow right here. Sometimes you might have to actually wipe your Conte off. So in this case, like I have some red that's still on my yellow. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that red off of there. Lay down a lot of yellow right here, a medium amount right here, and really only a tiny amount right there. I think we're gonna need more blue over here, so I'll just go ahead and put that in there right now. And then let's actually blend that blue one as well and get that nice rich blue, which will fully kind of round out that part of the spectrum. And then finally, we'll go ahead and blend our purple and our, two tertiary colors over here. So I'll lay down a substantial amount of blue right here. lay down kind of a lighter amount of blue right there, and then really barely any blue right here. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. At this point, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to layer a little bit more red here just to really help that red really stand out. So this is the, basis of your color wheel. And the thing to keep in mind with this is that we're really just working with these saturated colors. And so the next exercise that you're going to do is going to introduce you to value and saturation. And so you'll be blending white and black and gray into these colors. But this just gives you that really basic introduction so that you're blending and building confidence with these basic primary colors that are fully saturated.